We know that Springsteen, it's a show. And when Bruce wakes up the next day, right, he's a human being, and he gets up and he has a cup of coffee, and he's not living in that high state of vibration that I'm talking about.
And by the way, in his show, it doesn't look like he's walking, not running. It's not like he's frenetically on his toes throwing it at you. He's in it.
Oh, yeah.
At his pace, he wasn't even that sweaty. And his skin looked fabulous. I don't know what he's doing, but he looked terrific.
So I agree with you. I
think he's exfoliating. It is a whole treatment. And now that I know, by the way, I had a facial last week that I need you guys to download and like and subscribe because I can't afford it and I'm not yet monetized here. But I have another facial on layaway. Hopefully by Christmas I can get it. Hi, everybody. It's your boy, Mark. Welcome to the Bonfire Talks podcast. And before I get into today's guest and wherever the hell this goes, I want to thank those of you who have subscribed to the YouTube channel. And if you can tell friends to subscribe to the YouTube channel version of this, I'd love it. We love that you're there. And those of you who are here every week, I appreciate it as I'm on the journey of figuring this out to give you the kind of content you want. But I'm overwhelmed by those of you who have reached out and who are downloading and watching on YouTube, and tell your friends. Hi, Kaylin.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
You're working all the buttons and stuff.
Yeah,
you're very, very busy.
Still setting up here. I'm okay. I'm all good.
Yeah. So I have a returning guest who is not my podcast sidekick, because there are a few people vying for this job, but she's my life sidekick. You didn't expect me to spin it that good, did you? After the fighting we've been doing this morning. We haven't been fighting. Anyway, my guest is award-winning actress, voiceover star. I'm giving you the credit you want. And the first person killed in the original Friday the 13th, and someone I've seen naked as recently as a couple hours ago.
I thought you said you were fighting.
It was by mistake. It wasn't. Okay. It wasn't a romantic thing. I walked in, but sometimes the fighting, you understand.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Robbie, formerly Robbie Morgan, now Robbie Wahlberg, my wife.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi, honey.
We've been at it since the first cup of coffee.
Yes.
Not at it at each other. So I get clear. Never at it like that. We've just been in a highly energized discussion about life, which we do far more than healthy. And it comes out of the fact that Mom and Dad went out, Kaylin.
Oh.
We left the house, and it wasn't easy, first of all, to get off the couch and into anything out in the world. Wouldn't you say, Rob, that was difficult?
Well, I definitely had a lot of resistance when the text chain...
When the plan changed.
The text chain, which I'm a little...
You don't like the group text thing anyway.
Don't like the group texting.
Is that Larry Davis thing as well? He doesn't want to be on the group text?
Probably.
Yeah, I think that was on...
I don't like that at all.
I think that's everybody's thing.
Yeah.
And then it was about carpooling, and I had a lot of resistance. I'm like, please tell me we don't have to do it just because he said we have to do it.
Here's what happened. Mark DiCarlo. Remember how I was talking about that? Mark DiCarlo is like, you don't know what you're getting into, but it always works out okay. So he got tickets to Bruce Springsteen, and months ago, and he does this all the time, says, we should all go to Springsteen together. It's in such and such month and do it. I'm like, okay, sure. Knowing that would never happen, whatever. And then I get a text from him last week saying, so you owe me this money and we're going on Tuesday. And when do we go? Sunday night?
Sunday night, yeah.
And I'm like, all right. Now, so...
and then when he talked about it with me separately, I went, well, does Mark know about this? And then I said to you, why didn't you mention it?
Yeah.
Do you know that we're going?
Full disclosure, I love Bruce Springsteen. And the question was posed to us actually, because first of all, Mark says, do you want to go to Springsteen with us? And we're like, sure. Only to then be put on a group text that we're going to Springsteen with he and Yenny, and another couple we've never met. And it's best if we go, like the concert's at 7:30. He was like, it's best if we go at 11 a.m. and all ride together.
We'll all ride together.
And we're going to have fried chicken and coleslaw.
Right. We're going to bring food, and then everybody starts, texting what they're going to bring and that whole thing.
So, truthfully, in the world of normal people, which apparently we visit but never live in, this is what people do. And this other couple, by the way, could be our new best friends. Love them.
Oh,
so
yes.
The plan was simply to go there at like 4 to park at the Forum because parking is terrible and tailgate a little bit, which, by the way...
Oh, it was a great idea, yeah.
Is what most of America does.
Yeah.
But we have not experienced as much.
We had...
And you are... you like Mark DiCarlo, actually. The two cancers in my life. Not cancer like growing horribly in my life, but cancer like astrologically, not zoologically. Astrologically. You like control. And so Mark likes to control, as we've had here on the show, about how we travel and do. And you like to control not being held hostage. And I get that.
I was like, please, Mark, tell me we don't have to
do any of that.
Because I might need to escape.
So here was Robbie's checklist.
Maybe.
Here's the things that Robbie was like, I can't do this. One was 6 of us in an SUV.
Yeah, that was scary.
So she's like, I'll go if I can sit in the front seat. I'm like, it's their car. You can't make that request. And then Mark's like, we'll get some fried chicken and coleslaw and beer and it'll be great. And Robbie's like, yes, so that doesn't work for me.
Nope.
So
can't
what
eat
can
fried
I
chicken,
eat?
right?
And
I have to bring my own.
And my feet, I need to know what shoes and
yes.
like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So different than I am often with you, I was actually loving in this situation.
You were very loving.
And I said, you know what, babe? I get it. And I texted Mark and said, we're not going to go with you, but we'll meet you there. We'll drive separate.
That's the right move. 6 people in a car is a lot.
Well, but then, because again, Kaylin, remember what drives me? I want you to love me. You being all of you, but specifically Kaylin. So I'm like, how can I make it work where I'm still liked by everyone? And so I'm like, you know what? But then I really thought about my philosophy is I like to make no decisions. So to me, that's a plus. So I said to Robbie, but let's really think about this. If we go there and I get you food that you want and you have that covered, if we get there early and no stress, we don't worry about driving and parking. And she's like, but what if they smoke weed and then they're driving and are we going to be safe? I'm like, when did you become that girl? And I said, also realize we're full-grown adults with full-grown adult children. So it's not like we're going to be like doing rails on the dashboard, and with a needle hanging out of our arm on the way to see Springsteen like you did in 1972.
No. I got really, really scared. Like the master of disaster mind started, but I don't know him and he's going to be driving and God forbid and they're going to be smoking in the car.
None of which happened.
All of the teenage...
We drove a mile from our house to this other house, like our neighbors, to another couple of suburban parents to drive in a carpool car. Right.
And we were the two that were in the way back.
And we had a great time.
We had a great time.
Which brings me to
I totally
today's
surrendered.
topic.
And Mark said, you said you would hold me in the back of the car if I got scared while we were driving on the freeway.
I would hold you, and at any point I can call an Uber. I don't care if it's $200. I will get you out of there.
You did. You did. And I thank you. And then that allowed me to surrender and go, okay, I'll go. It'll be okay.
And then, so now we get in the car to go. All this resistance, Robbie.
But this wasn't what we talked about this morning. No, you're getting there?
Remember
okay.
when I told you that I was going to host this and we'll get there?
Yes.
So when we get to the house, Robbie has now left our house. She has now committed to we're going to go out.
Yeah.
And then in the literally 7-block drive from our house to their driveway, the world of possibilities for Robbie opened up.
I got really
she came out of the car
and into it.
Like, this is going to be great. I can't wait to see what are the songs? What do you think they're going to play? I looked up the set list, and I'm like, you know what? You got to chill. She says, I'm just happy. I said, I like you slightly depressed. That's where I like you, because you fully expressed is more than anyone can handle.
I had some questions for Mark DiCarlo and Yenny behind your back. We don't have to get into that right now, but I had to ask them without you hearing me. Okay.
Now I'm dying to know what that is.
No, we can't talk about
And
it
all
here.
I was saying is it possible for you as a human, when you're excited, to have a conversation with somebody without holding their shoulders so that they don't leave, so that you have control of them?
I don't think so. I don't think it's possible.
I constantly saying, I love you, but protect people's personal space. Right? So anyway.
They're all getting such a terrible impression of me. When I talk to people, I just
need to hold them so they don't walk away.
I don't know. It's not because so they don't walk away. It's just my affection.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
Whether they want it or not? That's called Me Too. Because consent. Anyway, what I thought would be the topic that we would talk about in general
Yes.
Would be joy. Because Robbie's takeaway was,
I
and I'll let you say it.
I had a big takeaway.
Well, go ahead. You say
No,
it.
no, no.
As it relates
you're
to it, because I
hosting.
want to talk about finding joy, experiencing joy, feeling sad when joy is gone, sustaining and maintaining a joyful way of being, and what exactly is the dynamic of joy in general. Because I actually have written about this. It's something I think it is where your best self lives, and selflessly. But I'd love to hear what opened up for you, because I saw the concert and said, wow. I started by saying we got to ask right away, what is our experience? What level of fan are we of Bruce Springsteen? And the best way I could sum it up was to say, we are a fan of Bruce Springsteen from the Americana level. I get that he's iconic. I get that he's a legend. His influence on me has shown up in music and the pop songs he have, but I'm aware of his longevity, who he is, what he talks about, who he is as a part of the tapestry of America is my appreciation of him. But can I tell you deep cuts? Do I know all the words to any of their songs? No, which was more than apparent because I love being in a concert trying to sing along when you don't know the words. So you just kind of try to find the consonant before it hits.
Hang on. To everybody out there who might be listening, if you have never seen Bruce Springsteen, it is a must.
So
it is a must. It is a get to. It is a have to.
But other than the music and the Springsteen thing, why? Talk about the joy thing, because that's why I brought this up, is that you came away going, the joy of it all.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, it was a really great concert. And I felt a lot of the same things, but maybe not as passionately as you did.
Well, first of all, I like you. I mean, same thing with,
I like you too.
No, honey.
I knew what you meant. I like you.
Yeah.
Thomas.
But, sure, we knew a few Bruce Springsteen songs and everything. I was kind of like, geez, I better listen to some of the music before we go, just so that it's fun to know the music before you go to a concert so that you can...
Yeah, but what about the joy? Talk about joy and not specifically the Bruce Springsteen thing. Because what we talked about today had nothing to do with Springsteen. It had to do with our relationship to being joyful, experiencing joy and losing it, and why we react differently.
Well, it was such a love fest. That whole stadium full of people experiencing this joy and the love and all those people. And it was so, and then it was so much fun, and you're in just this other state. It's a high vibration of joy.
There you go.
It's a very high vibration.
Yes.
And everybody feeling it at the same time,
is why we do things tribally, I think.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so then the next day, I had a fun hangover. I couldn't move because it was so much fun. And I like being in that state of love and joy and fun and laughing and like the whole thing. And Bruce is responsible for that because he's singing about, it's so much to go into, but each and every one of his people up there, it's a love fest. They have such a connection with each other, and they love being together up there. And then that, he sends that out to all of us, and we feel it, and it touches our soul.
Which I think is what you're describing, while specific to that concert. By the way, your older brother is pocket dialing me yet again.
We'll
when
call
I
him back.
answer it and I say, you're pocket dialing me, he'll say, no, I meant to call you. I'm going to do it right now. Hello? Hello? Pocket dial. Number 2. They usually happen at 2 in the morning.
It happened at 9 this morning. Okay,
It happened at 9. All right. Bye, Gary. I love you. Although you don't know you called me.
But
Then he'll call back and say, no, I meant to call you, and then make up a reason that we're talking.
so the difference between me and you is that I wanted to be backstage. I wanted to be on stage with them. I want to know Bruce. I feel like I do know Bruce because he's deep and he was talking about mortality. He was
if you were
talking
speaking
about
to him, would you hold his shoulder so he didn't
I
walk
would
away?
definitely hold his shoulders. Definitely. And I hope I get the opportunity to hold his shoulders.
By the way, that reminds me of our first date.
Yeah.
Do you?
Of
you know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
I met Robbie. She was. If we're going to talk about joy, this was.
But this is important. Well, but where we were going was important, honey.
Okay.
But I'll let you host.
No, that's okay.
No,
Where
no,
are we going?
No, I've learned my lesson.
Obviously
I
not.
have learned my lesson.
Obviously not.
Go. I've
go ahead.
interrupted.
It's all right. You can interrupt. What were you going to say? What was the point you were getting to? Then I'll tell the story of our first date.
You didn't necessarily have a fun hangover.
I didn't have any hangover.
And I don't drink and I don't smoke.
So let's talk about that. So here's what we talked about this morning in the kitchen.
Yes.
Is that when we did TM, Transcendental Meditation.
Yes.
And we took this thing.
Yes.
They were describing that what we're trying to do when we meditate and stuff like that is to if the wavelength of your emotions and experience is like this, highs and lows like this, spiky.
Yeah.
We want it to be more like this, or I want it to be more like that. And I think I generally am more spiky than anyone who lives in the Midwest and not in show business, but much less spiky than you and relatively flowy in that sense. So
That's why
you
God,
said to
that's
me,
why God sent you to me.
Is that right?
Yes.
And then he also sent me to you, so that's something to look at. I can know all the reasons. You saved my life a million times over. Anyway, oh, wait a minute. That's Gary calling back.
Is he really?
Hi, Gary. Oh, my God. It's a third pocket dial. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, third
This is
pocket dial
funny.
today.
This is
Let's
funny.
see how many have.
Okay.
We do a tally.
Okay.
Anyway, where were we?
Meditation.
All right. So you said to me, I don't think you experienced as much joy as I did. And I said, no, I experienced lots of joy, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is so joyful. I never want it to end.
That's
when the
true.
concert's over, I'm like, and then we started going down the rabbit hole of how we experience stuff. So like when we go and tape a show in Hawaii and then we take a couple days afterwards. And then when it's over, any vacation for that matter, I'm like, okay, well, let's, on the day we're supposed, hello, hello, that's 4.
This is funny. But
wait, let me finish.
I'll let
the
you
day
finish.
we're supposed to leave, I'm like, okay, let's go home. I'm ready for that. But you, and this could have something to do with your path and stuff going on. But for you, it's like, how can I get a little bit more? For instance, you eat a meal that you like. I go, wow, that was really delicious. And then that was last night. You get the same thing for the next 7 days because you want to keep chasing that joyful feeling.
Yes, it's
Unpack
true.
that for a
It is
minute.
true. And, Bruce Springsteen, Cirque du Soleil, I want to just run right down the stairs and run away with the circus, which I did. But what I did realize, and I have to bring this up, sorry, but when I was doing Barnum, the vibration was high, the show, the trap, the circus, the show, da-da-da-da. When that curtain comes down, the magic is over.
So let's break
until the next.
But let's break that
night.
down because that's not the way real life works. So let's break that down for a second.
That's what we were breaking down this morning.
Right, and we're going to break it down again. What you're describing is, and your phrase, because you're bumper sticker girl, I say positively, but you like to say cliches because they land, is that your happiness can't come from an outside source, right? I don't need you to expound on that, but yes, you say that, right?
This is what I'm learning on this road.
What I'm getting
nothing
at
from the outside can fix the inside,
Right, and
fix that hole.
So
And I'm still learning, though.
well, that's what this is about.
I mean,
this is not me teaching. This is me learning alongside you.
I am on the path with this because it keeps showing up. Like
What I'm trying to say to
Bruce
you
Springsteen.
is to separate fix from joy?
Well, I understand.
Let me.
I understand. Go ahead.
Let me make that point.
Okay.
When you're doing Barnum and you're on stage and you're doing the show, or you see a show and it's like, oh my God, and then the feeling is, I want to pick my words carefully so you don't get defensive, but the feeling afterwards is, I don't want this to end, or I want more, or I feel worse with it gone. Any of the hangover part is similar to a drug. I'm going to use this in big things. It's similar to like drug use, in that when you're on cocaine or whatever, it's like, whoa, that's fucking great. And as soon as it starts to come down, it's not fucking great, and you need more to sustain something that's false. But, and to me, this morning I was trying to describe, we're either giving or taking. So, like when you go to the concert, Bruce is giving and we're taking, right?
Bruce is giving and
giving
we're
joy to us, and we're taking the joy that we paid handsomely for to sit 10 rows from the top of
the audience is also giving it back to Bruce.
Well, that's what hold on.
There is an exchange.
Hold on.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So he's giving, we're taking, but at the same time, when I look at him and little Stephen having a moment, and I'm filled with joy about their relationship, I'm giving an energy back, right? When you come in empty, and then his joy you take, and that makes you feel not joyful, but euphoric for a period of time, but then you return to feeling not just where you were, but worse than. That's not the same relationship to joyful things that in healthy mindedness we can strive to experience.
And I have really, and I am aware, and I have learned absolutely how to find those joys that do come from the inside, but it has taken little by little by little, and it was good.
And
but Bruce blew me out.
And that's actually not true, because because it's much more than you're saying, your joy. I experience you differently than you experience you, and you experience me differently than I experience me, because inside my head, when my conversation about who I am and what my worth is and all that, that's fucked up, as is yours, apparently. But I see you experience joy all the time that you may not recognize as that calm, even glucose level.
Well, yes.
Right, metabolized.
It's more of a
happiness.
I'm aware of that. I get a lot of joy.
Like when you're talking to somebody who needs help and you're sharing information, while that doesn't feel like party animal joy, it's joyful for you.
Oh, absolutely.
And you get to be a different person. You'd look different.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
So,
but another takeaway that I got is we got to do more things.
Yes,
because
we do.
Sometimes we need to go out in public and be observed by others to remember how much we like each other. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Sometimes you got to get out.
It was really fun. The whole thing was really, really fun. Yeah. But, the topic that we're talking about is gigantic because, out there in the world, like all of us, everybody, you try to fix with a purchase, a purse, a pair of shoes, a trip. And there's absolutely nothing that is a lasting joy from outside of yourself. For a second.
Well, this goes back to my thing that I've been playing with for a couple years now.
But it always goes away.
But doesn't have to. So this is the thing I've been playing with.
Okay.
And we've had some chapters in the past 7 or 8 years that have gone from, oh my God, I cannot believe how rich and great everything is, to what the fuck did I do wrong? Up till weeks ago. And I keep going back to the things that I'm trying to learn for myself to maintain more of this and less of this. And it's the thing I wrote about in a moment of feeling like I knew something. And I need to read my own shit. But I was saying joy is both selfish and selfless. I've said this many times. That if you can do something that brings you joy, not performative happiness or euphoria brought on by outside sources, but truly a a wholesome, joyful experience. It doesn't have to be on the scale of 1 to 10. It's selfish and selfless. It's selfish in that it makes you feel better that you're doing something joyful. But I feel like it's impossible to be in a joyful state and be observed by somebody else and them not feel some joy from it. And the example I often use is that if you're walking down Venice Beach and you see a street performer, street performing, may not even be your thing. You don't like jugglers, you're scared of clowns, whatever. But if they're really living their best life, you can't help but stop and feel a little connection to that. And so when you're joyful, you're not taking from something else something to make you happy. You are in a state of joy that expresses outwardly as a gift to anyone who happens to experience it, yourself included.
Right, because joy is an inside
job.
It's an inside state of being.
That's
And it radiates
and
out.
And it looks like...
It radiates out instead of getting it from outside.
That's right.
In.
That's right. That's right.
So
what happens is it looks a lot like the happiness we get from doing things that are more like a fix. Like it looks like and feels sometimes like things we do that are either toxic or not so toxic, but like you say, outside sources making us feel better for a short time and leaving us with a hangover later.
Right. Well, I mean,
it's the metaphor, give or take. You're either taking something to make you feel better, or you're giving your own joy out to make you feel better.
Exactly, to radiate. But there are so many joys that I have. I mean, the dogs bring me great joy. Loving them, and
I think
dogs.
they're kind of a spike. they're joyful until 4 a.m. when a cat goes in the backyard and they wake us up barking.
No. I get a lot of joy.
Me too.
There's joy. There's a hummingbird in a nest that I look at every morning.
How many families of hummingbirds have you seen from your... Robbie has a desk in one of our...
It was Morgan's room.
I was going to say one of our former children because now that they're adults.
Well, it was Morgan's room, and now I'm in there.
Yeah, so she's got a desk by a window next to a camellia bush.
Camellia tree, two of them,
right.
Yes.
And several years ago, you noticed a hummingbird nest.
Oh, yeah, and then
then a mom came in, and 2 babies. You saw eggs, and the eggs were born. You saw the mom feed them. You saw them get out of the nest and start getting it, and you saw them fly away.
Oh, I have video.
What an experience!
I have video. Yes,
and it's happened how many times now?
Oh, over and over.
Same nest.
Yes, and so there's a mama right now in that nest.
Second one's the season.
Yes, and they're Airbnbs. They're reused.
Yeah, and in LA we can rent it for $1,000.
But great joy in that. But that's different. So I think,
yes, because that's actual
as
opposed to the fix.
Those little joys, right? You fill yourself up with those little joys.
Well, hold on.
But then when you see Bruce
Springsteen, be clearer so you don't fill yourself up with an outside source. The gratitude for experiencing those things brings you joy.
Correct.
That's different than buying a ticket to something that even if you're in a bad mood, they're going to blast you with joy that you take. Like an oxymetric. Okay, now I'm high.
Right.
And now, fuck, tomorrow morning I'm back at my house and I feel like shit. Now, your hangover, by the way, so that we're clear, that fun hangover was just we were out late and got up early and it was a lot of energy and all that. It wasn't like you felt depressed.
No, I wasn't depressed.
That happened much later in the week.
It was just so much fun. The carpool was so much fun. We
Company
laughed.
Was fun.
We had great food. We had that was all fun. It was a lot. Then walking to our seats, all those people. And what we have to talk about is all those people.
How old they were?
How many people? 50,000?
Oh, it was a full forum.
So everybody going, to see Bruce, they're all excited and in a good mood. They're all like, they have left their humdrum everyday life, aside, and now we're going to see Bruce.
But I think that speaks to certain performers, and we talked about this too. Like there are acts out there that perform and they've got fans and it's all good, but it's a different vibe. But then there are the people, and if I trigger anybody by mentioning people that you hate, I don't care. But like Taylor Swift, to some degree Jimmy Buffett before he died, the Grateful Dead, Lady Gaga, that have these armies and armies of fans that travel to see them because the experience that they're getting. But that's also something else that I trip on a lot is, and this goes into arguments about religion and stuff like that. There is power in being around. Like for me, I've talked about this a lot, that when I'm in a crowd or I'm on stage and there's a crowd, I can hear the 3,000 individual thoughts. And I can also hear when those 3,000 individual thoughts become one collective thought, which is what happens in an arena when you're watching a show. And that vibrational connection that most people will say, or a lot of everyday people say that that's all bullshit and we California people are nuts. But to me, it's very audible. And the reason why we have these experiences is that it feels safe. One thing I think we're aware of as humans is that we can't live by ourselves. Like we're going to probably die in the winter if we have to go by ourselves. So community equals safety. And the dark side of that is when we get a mindset of something that's against, that's victim mentality, and we form that tribe, and wars happen. Wait, let me get to the end of this point. But when we go and experience a concert or we go to church, for those of you who are into it, it's one thing to pray by yourself. It's another thing to pray with people around you, and there is an energy. I get the collective lift. And I'm not saying prayer, but a concert or any community, basketball for me, when we're all together, I feel safer knowing I'm with people who are vibrating the same thought.
Well, it's interesting because in that stadium, when we looked around, there's older people and younger people and kids and
no, there were not a lot of younger people. Let's be clear. What we really saw were older, somewhat overweight white people is what we saw.
Honey.
I was one of them.
There was no age. Because
that moment
of the joy.
That's
There's no age as you look around because, as they say, we are one. There is, under this skin, we are spirit.
Right.
And
so
we're all one. We're one.
Well, I guess that's what I'm saying.
On your fabric. You're rubbing up on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were going to jump in as a oneness there. Nothing came up?
Just the audio issues.
Damn it. That doesn't feel like approval. What I was going to say is one of the things that was bringing me joy at the concert when I would tune out of the music, because for me it's really fun when I know the song and I can sing along, and when it's a deeper cut and I don't know the song, it loses me a little bit. But it really didn't lose me, so that's when I kind of look around and look at the people around me.
I was doing the
same thing. And I saw one guy who was my age or older, kind of paunchy.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting by himself. Knew every word, but he was dancing while he sang.
Yeah.
There were many of these, but the experience I got was he was not dancing any particular step. He didn't give a fuck who was looking at him.
Nope.
He was by himself, bought a ticket so that he could access this feeling that he's probably had since he was 13 years old in his room.
And that's why a lot of people follow Bruce from show to show to show.
Well, I don't think it's just Bruce.
Well, it's not just Bruce, but a lot of
concert experience,
yes.
The communal fandom, why we become fans to something bigger.
Well,
the connection to other fans feels like some cosplay, Comic-Con people, all these people.
They want to, let's just stick to Bruce for a second, because all those people, they were, it's your youth. It's your...
But Robbie, I'm saying, I don't think it's...
Although that person that was dancing, that older gentleman, he wasn't self-conscious about what he looked like. He was in a state of joy.
Right. What I'm saying is it's not specific to the artist. We as people, as humans, do this. It's whether you believe it or not. And what's funny is out of the mouths of humans, you'll deny this exists, connection. But what we do belies that all the time. We show up. People love to find the thing they're into, and other people who are into it as well, to form a subreddit, to talk about it, to wear the clothes of, to talk about it. And this gets into the other conversation. It now gives us identity where we feel more important because of our projected connection on an artist who doesn't know we exist other than our connection.
Now, you're going to hate what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
Because this is part of the other conversation.
Okay.
The ego wants us to think we are separate.
I don't hate
Separate and, separate
Better than,
from, better,
separate.
right, better than.
Yeah.
But in that arena, everybody that was connected, we were all connected and a part of and feeling the love and the joy and it was incredible.
Even walking out.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it was a
you get
zoo.
real friendly.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
friendly. Everybody's like, so sorry. And,
Yeah.
it's another state of being. And how
Which
do we...
ends before you get to the parking space and people start honking to get out.
Yeah, so how do you keep your vibration high like that and vibrate on that level? Because I think that's that's love. That's what love is.
I have one word.
That's where all the goodies lie.
Yeah, but here's where in these years in my life, are finding access to that more.
Oh, tell me. Go.
It's one word, and I overuse it.
Oh.
You use ego, I use acceptance. Because I found for me to access happiness and joy, and let's call it some different words because it'll make more sense, grace and peace.
I like those words. Acceptance feels like, yes, it's true. It's acceptance.
Wait.
But acceptance feels like,
Let me
accept it.
Well, let me finish the sentence.
Even though it's true.
Let me explain what I'm talking about.
Okay.
To me, joy, happiness, that up and down thing you're talking about is grace, ease, peace, no stress, that feeling of everything's okay. Okay?
Okay.
To me is joyful. And what I found and I'm playing with is the less I have an opinion about, I say the less I care about, but that's an easy way to say it, but it's the less I feel the need to control, the more I can accept exactly where I'm planted right now. Access to being graceful and at ease is easier for me. And for me, because my thing is anxiety, I'm prone to anxiety and anger, right? That's my fear manifests that way. And the weight of making decisions to control this destination we're never getting to ruins my possibility for joy. So when I'm in a situation like the back of an SUV that, going somewhere I can't control.
We were like the kids.
I can choose to go, I don't like this. How can I fix it? Start spending all of my energy, which immediately is not joyful. Or I can go, everything's okay right here. Let's ride this ride.
Yeah,
Which, by the way,
we did.
as I've spoken about, if you're friends with Mark DiCarlo, that's the only way you survive that friendship. And it always turns out great.
And we did, and we had a
Right.
ball.
But on a bigger thing, on a bigger spectrum, we argue about it all the time. When you go to a restaurant, I need to learn from you to stand with myself to have something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But the thing I say to you is, if you try to control what the chef has prepared, you're going to get not what the chef prepared, and it's not going to be what you thought you were preparing, and it's not going to be good. So sometimes controlling things doesn't give you the outcome anyway, and yet your brain thinks that somehow that feels better to have control. I voted your brother with his pillows. He's never going to get a pillow that feels good on his couch. He can't let go of the fact that I'm going to sit here and this is how the couch feels.
Hang on. I want to say something else. I know you don't like it when I say hang on, but I wanted to say that now. Look, we know that Springsteen, it's a show, and when Bruce wakes up the next day, right, he's a human being, and he gets up and he has a cup of coffee, and he's not living in that high state of vibration that I'm talking about.
And by the way, in his show, it doesn't look like he's walking, not running. It's not like he's frenetically on his toes throwing it at you. He's in it.
Oh, yeah.
At his pace, he wasn't even that sweaty. And his skin looked fabulous. I don't know what he's doing, but he looked terrific.
So I agree with you. I
think he's exfoliating. It is a whole treatment. And now that I know, by the way, I had a facial last week that I need you guys to download and like and subscribe because I can't afford it and I'm not yet monetized here. But I have another facial on layaway. Hopefully by Christmas I can get it.
But I agree with you. When I'm talking about that higher vibration of his show, I'm not talking about a frenetic, like,
That's exactly right.
It was just a higher vibration of being.
But that's what I'm saying to you.
And I guess that's just...
Hold on.
Lives within him.
I just hold on to you. I'm sorry.
Lives within him, and it radiates out.
But let's talk about it with living.
Show.
But let's talk about it as it relates to you and me and our lives. Is that what you experience, or my take on that experience is, to us, it was this spiky high of, oh my God. But this is what he does for a living all the time. So what he has been able to figure out, and we can figure out, is that while this is a bigger expression of energy and joy or whatever when he's on stage doing that, he stretched out that spike line to be more like this. So unlike, and I'm projecting, but people like an Amy Winehouse or somebody that, or so many people, sadly, that have come and gone, where Robin Williams, the highs of what we see fill up a certain thing, but the depths afterwards are unmanageable. Those people, and the reason he's an icon is that those people who've lasted for 70 years, the Stones or whoever, have found a way to that you got to be able to do this every day or you're going to be empty.
It's art. It's what happens.
It's not about art. My point.
It is. It's art.
It's art what they're doing. What I'm saying is the art of living is what I'm saying is that the acceptance of things and being on your heels and walking instead of running, the grace of life, if you want to control stuff, control your energy. Control where you spend your energy so that you can be more evenly happy, even in a high state of energetic performance and in a quiet state of at home watching TV on the couch, can be more even in your joy experience instead of spiky.
I agree. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course you agree.
I still think that I experienced more joy than you did. No, I'm kidding.
No, I think you experienced what you think is joy more than I did. And that's why you felt like shit the next day, and I got up and played golf and had a great day with 4 hours sleep.
I'm not sure how you did that. I could not move the next day. I was just...
Because when I woke up the next day... Because here's what I'm playing with. You want to know?
Yeah.
When I woke up the next day, instead of going, I have 5 hours sleep, I usually have 8, and that means I'm going to be really tired. I got to plan a nap later. And if I have 2 cups of coffee, that may be good, but I got to drive. I said, I had as much sleep as I had.
Well, you were also very excited about playing golf because you love playing golf. Mm-hmm. So you love playing golf. So it's like,
but when I was doing that corporate event last week, and I had to be in the ballroom at 6:15 in the morning, which means getting up at 5:15 in the morning, and no matter what I do, I'm still going to be up till midnight. How do you do? What I'm saying is, when we are in a situation, when there is a what is happening, and we don't like it, we spend energy trying to squirm out of it or manage it. But it's futile because you're here and it's still going to be. Mm-hmm. So it's like Morgan, our son.
Yes, let's say it together. Ready?
What?
Let's say his motto.
Yeah, if you can't get out of it, get into it.
Which is great.
It's a really incredible story.
Yeah.
This, I guess I could share the story. It's a really, consider this like a biblical parable, but it may mean nothing to you, and it may be.
And maybe Morgan will listen if we tell him that we talk about this.
He listens all the time. It's our other child.
Just not to us. He doesn't like to listen to us.
Here's my experience, by the way. I have 2 kids, and they're both fantastic. We have 2 kids, but they're mostly mine. And so this is the experience. I love their opinion. Like, I want to hear it. I want to know. Our son, Morgan, listens to every episode immediately.
Except he didn't listen to the one that we did together. Yeah.
Well,
that's okay.
Nor are our people who could listen to this. We're the only ones interested in this. Kalen has to be here, and he's already having trouble with his joy. Anyway, Morgan listens to everything and then calls me to debrief, even when the show's on the air, immediately. Goldie's like, is your show on the air? I said, yeah, it's been on the air for like 8 episodes. And like, Love is Blind, you'll watch, but you don't watch my shit. So Goldie is doing her own thing.
She's funny.
But Morgan was, I don't know if I should tell this story because he may say he had to do a 20-mile hike in the snow with packs and all sorts of terrible stuff. And worse than that, having to do it, they pulled him out to do a special thing, which means he's going to have to run back and forth all the time. And he could have gone, this is going to make this worse, and I don't know how we're going to get through 20 miles, but I've seen him do this over and over again. He turns it into a game of how fast can I do it, or can you do it with me? And then what happens is not only does he switch it from have to get to, it's a choice, it makes other people make the same choice. So it lifts up everyone.
He enrolls
everyone because he makes it a game.
So fun. He makes it
and I'm like, how were you able to do 20 miles with all that stuff in the snow, with all the yelling and all the thing? He says, Dad, if you can't get out of it, get into it. And I know it sounds simple, but do you realize, I'm only realizing, and I really work on this, is that this is ours. This is the portal. That what I keep saying over and over again to myself, and hopefully some of you hear it, is that life is not conspiring against you. Nor is life particularly rooting for you. Life is just ising everywhere. Yeah. Right?
Right.
It's just being itself.
Right.
And we, however, being human, or as you say,
we get to choose.
A spiritual being in a flesh suit, or
no, we're having a spirit. We're a spiritual being having a human.
I'm just looking for what the phrase is.
Yes, we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
So, what I trip on, not trip like fall, but trip like acid for fun, is the concept that as life is ising itself all over the place with no opinion and no dog in a fight, I get a choice of my relationship to what is.
Yeah, we get to choose.
I want this to sink in. It's deep.
If we can remember to be aware that
we have a choice. We have a choice in every moment that what is ising in front of us, how we relate to it is ours. So we can relate to it as good or bad. Hold on. We relate to it as good or bad, meaning this is either happening to us or it's a great thing for us or whatever, or we can relate to it from a, what's the word I'm looking for, is a neutral place, and that's called, thank you, acceptance. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is, and that's okay. And then what happens is, since you've spent none of your energy trying to run away from it, celebrate that it's happening, crow about it, or fight against it, you can just be it.
Right. There's two ways of looking. Either, oh shit, or
hooray.
Or hooray, or
your
great,
brother,
or yes.
Your middle brother says you can either be a drain or a fountain. And there's many cliches around it. What I'm saying is, it's not even, oh shit. Your phrase is, that what happens to you happens for you. I'm saying that what happens just happens and doesn't give a fuck about you. You get to say.
And Jim Carrey
wait,
also
let me
says
finish
that.
the thought.
Okay, baby.
That what happens is just happening. It's not happening to you or for you. You get to say, what's for me in this? What lesson can I apply? And thank you. And whether that affects anything or not doesn't matter, but I feel better if that's what I do. And I personally feel better when I don't have to choose anything.
I'd like to say that Jim Carrey also said that life happens to you. Life doesn't happen. What is that?
To you, it's your phrase.
It happens for you.
Yeah.
Right. And then he said he feels better to view what's happening is happening for his best interest.
That's right. Because it isn't.
He feels better about it when he thinks of it that way.
And by the way, that to me,
I like that.
I love that too. And that's what I'm saying, but not as eloquently as you said it. Because for those of us who get caught in philosophy or spirituality.
Or a word, you know.
Let me finish the thought. Those of us get caught in philosophy, spirituality, religion, like traditional thinking. You start saying, well, wait, is that in line with my belief system or not in line with my belief system? What that says is, what I have come to believe is that all of that's bullshit. And today is just today. Just happening, whether you are here or not. Today is going to happen the way it happens. And what we do with the day is entirely our
choice.
Our matrix experience in our simulation.
It's our choice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Our matrix experience in our simulation is that we're saying this is a horrible end of the world, or this is the start of something great, or it's anything else in between. But like he's saying, it may not be that what happens to you happens for you, or it may be that what happens to you. But what if none of that matters and it only matters what you say it is?
Yeah, he says, I feel better. And it's also, it goes to, what you think about, you bring about. What you focus on, you get more of. When you focus, with gratitude, you get more to be grateful for.
There is that.
And I love that.
There is that belief that's true. That what you focus on. And I always, the kind of little lesson that I got years ago, and I think I've said it before here, I don't really remember, but we've talked about it, is like what you focus on happens. So they always say if you're skiing and you say don't hit that tree, you ski right under the tree. And the example we did with Pat Finn is if I close my eyes and you tell me not to think of a white horse, you immediately think of a white horse. So, your words, your thoughts, and the choices of where you spend your energy make a difference in how you access what we're talking about. It's the difference between joy and a hit of cocaine, like fake euphoria that doesn't last. Now, to close this episode,
yes,
let's pocket dial Gary. Because you know why? That brings me joy.
No. That's so silly.
Hold on. Is it even ringing? That would be. It's ringing. She's got two brothers. Gary's the oldest. Roger's the philosopher. Gary's the hippie.
Which one's the pillow guy?
Roger.
The pillow guy's Roger because
okay.
he's 5 feet tall. Okay, that's funny. So it rang. Hey, Gare, how you doing? Yeah. You've pocket dialed me like 4 times today.
Tell him he's on the
You did.
Tell him he's on
Who
the
did?
podcast.
Tell him what we're
I
doing.
call it pocket dial, but if you did it with your butt, that's great. I'm doing my podcast right now, and I was going to pocket dial you, but you answered, and I also can't pocket dial you because it feels incomplete. So everything okay? All right, goodbye. Even your pocket loves me. You, on the other hand, is another conversation. You're fond of me, but your pocket loves me. All right, goodbye, crazy fucking hippie. That's your brother. I married into that. I don't even have to have a relationship with him except that I love him.
We love him.
Yeah.
We love him. That was funny.
Yeah, okay. And you know what else I love?
Chopping it all up like this.
No, you.
I love you too.
I was talking to Kaylin, but I was looking at you.
We do this, this morning was pretty deep.
And
This
one of our
morning
kids
was very deep.
One of our kids is here because we're going camping Thursday. Yeah, I'll talk about it later. But and so he doesn't love to watch us do this.
Well,
This is obnoxious to him.
it was perfect timing because he went to the gym, and then I did my morning, my morning stuff where I pray and I write and everything, and I came out. I was like, I know what we could talk about.
Yeah. You just come in the middle of an episode? Is that how it goes? Just walk in? Do you not know about show business?
I had to
All right.
come in and get
That's TV's Mark DiCarlo, which if you listen this week, next week will be his never-ending quest to be my permanent sidekick. But this week is
the numbers, man. My shows go through the roof.
You're right. You're up to dozens of downloads instead of few.
I love you, baby.
I love
That was
you too.
fun.
I love you too, but mostly I love Kaylin. And thank you guys for watching and listening. And
Don't stop on my account.
his energy is so big. See you guys. Bye.